did you first discover that there was something not quite right?
This has been happened for quite some time already, but most of the time I will be doing things that I shouldn't do. That's, okay. 我可唔可以用廣東話都可以係咪？係啊，好多時咧，我唔知道自己嘅地方係喺，即係我個地方咧就係喺我屋企啦，但係我周不時都係揾唔到嘢嘅，即係唔知點解係揾唔到咯嚇。
So she shared that the difficulties that she faced was even in her own home. She had difficulties finding her own things.
喺工作方面咧，其實我都係好唔點講咧，即係好唔確定嘅，係啊，即係好多時都唔記得咗啲嘢係擺咗喺邊度，即係 most of the time 咧，我都係好混亂啊嚇，變咗我就冇心機咯。我直情有陣時好多時我都係我擺低啲嘢我就當唔喺度啦，因為我真係冇辦法 cope with it 咯。
So she said that even in her workplace, she felt confused and she forgot where she placed her things, and as a result of that, she lost the motivation to work, and so sometimes she would just put her work down and just leave it as it is.
係啊，that's 都係咁樣嘅情況之下咯，咁搞到自己好似好沮喪咁樣，因為沮喪係啦。咁自然咧就即係覺得來來去去都係咁樣噶啦，食藥都係咁樣噶啦，咁仲有咩可以做得到啊？咁呢樣嘢係我都幾困擾咯嚇。
So she felt depressed about her condition, and she also felt that even with medication, it's not improving. So she felt demoralized by what has happened.
So why did you come back to Singapore? At that time, diagnosis was made in Hong Kong. Am I right? Okay. So why did you come back to Singapore?
Because 係咪我翻嚟？係啦，因為 because I'm all alone in the house. That's why I don't want to go out to meet new friends or whatever. Yeah, so a lot of things. Yeah, and also if I need to go outside, I need to take a lot of effort. Yeah, to go out. Yeah.
Hannah is happy you're back. Yeah. Okay. So how do you feel now that you're in Singapore with your family?
Oh, definitely very nice now because I have more people to back me up. So I think we need to help all these people just to try to do whatever you want. Okay, don't just stuck around, you know. I hope 廣東話都得 ，OK 嚇，咁都喺可以廣東話之中都可以同你哋講，唔該晒。好，咁翻嚟新加坡咧就好舒服嘅。因為有一段時間咧都係同媽媽一齊住，咁又有人照顧，咁係爭好遠嘅咯咁有啲咩情況都可以咧同屋企人啦，即係多啲 大家去照顧下咁樣，咁就慢慢咧識咗多啲朋友啦。咁而家就冇咁驚咯，因為平時係啦，咁係啦，細個就係咁樣樣咯，係咯，咁啦，得啦。
So she felt yeah, so she felt more comfortable back in Singapore because she can stay with her mom and there is someone that she can depend upon, and also she can make new friends back in Singapore. So she felt overall she's better supported.
Perhaps maybe just one question about the future. About the future. Yeah, you said you feel less scared and less depressed.
Nowadays, sorry. 目前嚟講咧，我而家開始開始打破一啲我以前唔夠膽去嘅地方啊，或者咁樣。咁好彩有屋企人有我嘅支持同埋鼓勵，咁盡量去做咯，即係突破咗佢咯，希望嚇。咁係啊，以前你一個人戇居居咁樣啦，即係喺屋企係好難受嘅嚇。咁依家都冇問題啦，解決咗啦嚇。
So she felt that there was a breakthrough in her own confidence in the sense that she's able to go out to further places that she has not been before, as compared to previously when she was isolated and felt lonely at home and nothing to do. So she felt that now she feels more confident and she don't feel that there's so much of difficulties now.
Okay, thank you, Edna. Maybe we just give Mr. Jeffrey a chance to just share a little bit about your wife's diagnosis. When did you first, discover?
When we first discover my wife, when she likes to watch cable TV, and I noticed that she keeps on watching the same TV show every time. And I said, didn't you watch this yesterday or what? And she says, no. So that kind of triggered me a little bit. And then, I work long hours, so there are times that, and since only there are two of us, and I think she was having these hallucinations also, because when I used to cater for the tiffin for dinner, and for 2 persons, and then when I come back, I see she lays the table for 4, and I said, who is coming? She said, oh, it's my mother and my sister. I say, where are they? And they say, oh, in the bedroom. And that's kind of strange. And then when I go there, nobody's there. And so those are the telltale signs. And later on, then brought her to NUH and got her diagnosed.
How did you feel when the diagnosis was made? And how did your wife feel at that time?
She didn't really kind of impact her, but I suppose she didn't realize what she was going through. But she took it quite okay. Yeah.
And yourself?
Myself, well, I initially going through that because I was a sole caregiver was real tough. It was very stressful and frustration, but I managed to get through all that. And 2 years ago, I put her in the daycare, and that helps a lot. So seriously, the daycare helps, especially for those who are caregivers, relieve the stress and at least give you some space.
So how did you actually, get out of that period when it was very difficult and very stressful? Because the daycare was only 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So for the first 3 years, you spent all your time with your wife?
Yeah, all the time with my wife, that's right, yes. I think it's tough, but I think it's a matter of how you kind of look into it, and just some tips for those who going to be caregivers. It's tough, but you must have lots of tolerance, patience, and you must have a lot of coaxing and encouragement you got to give to a person. And normally suggest that the caregiver should be the spouse or a family member, because you have to know, you have to also, another key point is empathy. You have to be in their shoes to see what she likes, what she dislikes, and make sure that, like say she wants to eat, you don't go and eat the same old thing every day, but you try to have various things and all that. And the other thing that I want to stress, that don't be kind of spoon feeding her, because the key thing is you cannot take away their dignity. You have to respect their dignity, and don't spoon feed them, because then they become overly dependent. Try to let them do on their own. Unless they really can't, then you help them.
Very good, Mr. Jeffrey. You could have given our talks for us. Okay, thank you, Mr. Jeffrey. Maybe we'll ask Peter some questions. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. So perhaps you can share with us a little bit about your journey.
Okay. Well, Kate was very ill and had some brain surgery. So for the family, that was very traumatic. It was a very traumatic period of time. Okay. And like my wife, I'm not a movie star. You know what I mean? So Kate had some brain surgery. It was a very traumatic period of time for our family. And the diagnosis with dementia, I really didn't notice anything. Kate noticed there were things that were happening to her, the spelling of that, the strange dyslexia that she talks about, and she actually thought that they were due to the brain surgery. So it wasn't until after that we found out about the diagnosis. So for us, yeah, it was devastating. So we had 2 boys, one sort of 16 and 17, yeah? And like everybody else, we were caught up. We both had careers, we had a mortgage, we had a house, all of those type of things. So for us, it was a major trying to reevaluate our lives and what we were doing. I think Kate and I are we're very close. We were very close before. We're even closer now, I think. And so, yeah, it was devastating. So, but I think there's that period that you go through that Kate was talking about, where it's a very dark period. You're trying to sort out what's happening. And it took us a little while to sort of get our acts together. So I now have a pretty firm opinion on where a care partner sits and what they should be doing, right? And I think the real balancing line there is we can love the person with dementia too much, and in doing that can actually take away a lot of what makes them. We can do it all for them, right? I think a lot of the systems around the world, even though they're well-meaning, paint the caregiver into a role where they become a martyr and have to do this, have to care, have to do all of these things and take over from the person who's living with dementia. and effectively turn the person who's living with dementia into a victim. And I don't think that's very good for either person. It becomes a control situation. So I think what Kate and I try to do is to tackle the issue as a partnership together. Yeah.
Thank you, Peter. Okay, maybe now we hear from Alan. Both are the husbands, so maybe a sister. Yeah, maybe you can share a little bit about how the family felt, and how you feel as a sister.
Sure. Of course, it took us some time to accept the situation because you can see Agnes is very young. The good thing is actually Singapore do have a very good system. So someone earlier on brought about the medical costs. The medical costs indeed. It is true that the medical cost it's a topic that needs to be discussed much further and in details. But rest assured that they are helped. Besides Tandoxing, have Tandoxing fund. I believe reach out to the treating doctors. They will link you up with the medical social worker. There are revenues to provide help. That is just one part of it. There are many other services available. So, as Jeffrey said, arranging daycare is very important because it provides the caregiver respect time, which is very important because you spend 24/7 with the person. No matter how patient and how much you love the person, how much empathy you have, the person needs a rest. I'm not saying arranging nursing care or daycare is an avenue for rest, but it's also very important to the patient herself because the daycare do have a scheduled program. So they provide scheduled, regulated activities to the patient so that it's meaningful to spend a day for the patient because they are trained to take care of patients with such need. So in this aspect, I do believe there are a lot of facilities and help available. Of course, at the beginning, looking out for this arrangement, it's not easy because this is not something that is available all the time. So awareness is important. And I do not know how it can be even make it better so that for people who may not have enough medical knowledge, they may not have in the health professionals, able to reach out to all this information quickly so that they don't feel so lost.
I mean, this is a very big diagnosis, right? And like you said, Edna is very young. Edna, you're really young. You look even younger than your actual age. So how has it changed your lives?
At the beginning, it makes me very busy. Okay, I'm a mother of 3. I think the best thing is I stopped work last year when I had a baby so that I do have more time to fit into schedules where I can actually take care of Agna in the sense that I can take her to her medical appointment. I can actually take her to daycare, etc., etc. So it does make a person very busy. And at the beginning, even of all this so-called help in terms of the medical funding, all this need to be evaluated, reviewed, all this need to make appointment to meet the relevant departments, and all this takes time. I guess how I felt at the beginning is it does fill up my day quite fully.
How about now?
Now it's better because now that everything has more like arranged, okay, settled down. Daycare, it's arranged. The necessary so-called meetings with the social workers have been done. So it's much better, especially I managed to get in touch to very helpful people from ADA, where they actually let me know there are many activities available. So certain days she go for memory clinic. Some of the days she goes for FOW. So all this activity helps because that's also where she make new friends, which is important. That it's where it helped her to step out of her own comfort zone to resume back more like a normal life, rather than she felt, because last time she felt easily scared when she had to make her way out of home, because she's so forgetful, she tend to be very nervous. But now that she recognized people in FOW, she recognized people from Memory Cafe, she felt very at ease when she are with them.
Okay, all right, thanks. Okay, just now, Kate, during her presentation, you came up with a dream list, right? It was like the things that you really, really wanted. I don't know, maybe after hearing about Singapore and all that, is there anything in particular that you feel Singapore maybe perhaps can focus on or should focus on first?
I don't know, that's a big question. And it's the end of a busy day. I think that, as I said to one of the people asking questions earlier in my session, it's stepping stones, and I think Peter said it as well, the work that you're doing, the presentation about the dementia-friendly community work, that's really the best we've seen around the world. And so to just keep going and keep having sessions like this, and don't be scared of dementia, and don't let the stigma do something about the stigma. And the best way you can do something about the stigma is by making sure people with dementia are always on the podium, in the programs, setting up. I mean, I personally, and in Australia, people my age would refuse to go to something called daycare, because that is where we took our children. I'm not going to daycare. And I kind of see what I'm doing, which is living, it's not a normal life, but a busy life. I see that as my respite, as my daycare, as I'm just getting on with living life. I do need a lot of support. I think that for Singapore to maybe look at the symptoms of dementia more as disabilities, like you would for anybody else with disabilities, would be a really great positive step for Singapore. I think you're doing a lot of great things already. It's been a very moving, emotional day for me personally, listening to two young people whose fathers have dementia. It's tough. Yeah.
Okay, before we take questions from the floor, I would just like to ask the two caregivers here, okay, perhaps, and even Adna yourself, tell them your dream list. There is ADA here, there is Lien Foundation here, there are probably other people in the audience.
我用廣東話嚟幫手啦嚇，咁好多謝 你哋俾我哋喺呢度有一個platform 咁我哋可以分享同大家係咁希望我哋又可以越嚟越做得多，越做得好嘅嘢啦，好唔好？
So Anna said that she's thankful to ADA for providing this platform for us to have this sharing, and she hoped that we can have more of such sessions in the future.
我自己就真係要做多啲嘢添啦，做多啲嘢咯，即係幫下手啊咁樣咯，係啊，即係教會裏邊咁都有好多新舊嘅朋友嘅，咁希望大家都可以齊一齊咁樣咯，可以做到我哋要做嘅嘢。
So she said that she hoped that in the future she will be able to do even more, and I think she's also looking forward to meeting more new friends in ADA, in the care services, and yeah. So I think she feels very positive about the future.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And how about Alan? Anything that you want to? This is a call for action, call to action. What would you want from them?
Okay, most of the services available is actually weekdays. So if it can extend to weekends, I think it helps for caregiver. Especially caregiver, a lot of them works on weekdays. So weekends to have some form of support makes a lot of differences.
I would like to add to that, because even as a person with dementia, when I really needed to talk to somebody apart from a family member, like to ring the helpline, well, most times I needed it was 10 o'clock at night or Saturday afternoon. It wasn't 9 to 5. So a 24-hour help service, I think, is something in your call to action here, definitely. And Australia.
Anything else, Alan? That's all? Okay, Mr. Jeffrey, what would you like from these people here?
I think dementia is something shouldn't be a stigma. I think it's getting more prevalent amongst the people here. And I think the kind of support, and I believe right now the various organizations is giving more awareness. I think this kind of awareness should be more forthcoming. Thanks.
All right, I think we're ready to take some questions if anyone has. Yes. Over there. There are a few hands.
I want to know if, for a caregiver, when do you know when to step in to make the decision for the person you're caring for, and for the other way around also, how do you know that you actually need help in the decision that you're going to make?
So the question is how do the caregivers know when to step in to help? And then the second part?
For the person who requires the decision to be made, how do they know that, can they accept that they need help with it?
Oh, okay. And if you are going to make a decision for the other person, for Edna, perhaps for your wife, or even Peter for Kate, that's what she's asking. How do you know that the person can also accept that decision? So first of all, I think maybe the first part first. How do you decide when you have to step in?
How do I decide? It's actually a very fine line. I have to say, if you stay with the person and you interact with the person closely, usually you will be able to identify when the needs arises, because the person you can, how should I put it? You will know that the person, she verbally may not be able to express out her decision. through communication with her, you can find out, or you can sense it that she's no longer able to be very distinctively state her preference. And that's when you will know that you have to help her to decide. But having said that, she is still able to communicate. So if you ask her her preference, she might be able to let you know what is her preference. And it's for you who is of more capable mind to make a decision whether to go with her decision. If you believe her decision may not be of her best interest, then it's for you to so-called negotiate to convince with her that maybe another alternative it's better. But it does take time to get it perfect, let's put it this way. Okay.
Yeah, I think two very good points here, right? I think the first thing is to know the person. If you know the person very well, then there is a good chance, that you would understand that person a bit better and decide when might be a time to step in. And the second thing, which is also very good, which Alan said, is don't force. Yeah, even if you feel that the person may need something, do not force your way through. She said persuade, negotiate, things like that, just like as with anyone else, right? Yeah. Anything to add?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I mean, the best caregiver should be your spouse or a family member, because then he or she will know because depending on what stage the person is, and there are times where you have to make a decision on her behalf. That's why I say a family member or spouse will know her better and make that kind of decision. And as I say, you have to have a lot of empathy to understand, put yourself in that person's shoe. If you were in that person's shoe, what would you like? What do you dislike? And all that. So that's very key.
I have a question for anybody in the audience. Can anybody tell me what I'm thinking about right now? No, exactly. So my advice would be ask, don't do, right? If you think somebody wants something, ask them whether they need a help. Treat them with dignity. Kate and I have a bit of a pact where the only time I would ever step in is if something happens that's life-threatening. Other than that, Kate does what Kate does. If I see Kate struggling, I'll ask Kate. I won't do for Kate. Right? That to me, that is a fundamental line.
I'll just add to that a little bit from the global movement of people with dementia who are speaking out. The very early advocates living with dementia 20 years ago borrowed the term from the disability sector of nothing about us without us. And I had been seeing a neurologist for 3 or 4 years before my dementia diagnosis, and he always used to look at me, he always used to address me, and then the diagnosis of dementia turned up and he stopped wanting to even look at me, let alone talk to me, to the point where I took a big sign into him one day that said, "Talk to me," because it was like suddenly I was a non-person. Suddenly I'd lost all capacity, and it's clear that I haven't. And I, having worked in dementia where people were nearer the end of their dementia, I understand what's ahead of me only too well, in fact, and know that one day Peter will have to step over that line and do things for me. But I think it's really important if we can communicate still in some way, and even like my example of Nellie, who everybody else said couldn't speak at all and couldn't communicate. She could, she just hadn't felt like she'd been treated with respect and dignity. So it is a balancing act, and I think in the very early days, the more you talk and engage with the person diagnosed, the more you're going to know about how they feel and what they want.
Before Before we take the next question, I just want to ask Edna, so how do you feel if your sister made a decision for you?
OK， 其實 Alan 同我咧唔係相差得太遠嘅啫，咁基本上我哋都好投契啦，我相信你都會覺得係好投契。咁好多時我哋都係有啲困難，互相即係要幫助咯。咁亦都要睇下對方係咪有一啲善意出嚟啊？定係點樣啊？咁即係好多時我哋唔會知道，有啲人佢係真係中意一樣嘢，或者係另外一樣嘢又係究竟係咪假㗎咁樣？即係好 confuse 咯，係即係我覺得喺我嘅世界中咧係好 confuse 嘅。係啦，嚇。而家可以試下嘅。
So Anna is saying that I think what she meant was that I think the difference in age between the two of them are not that far away. They are equally young, and they have good chemistry among themselves. Yeah, so they actually know each other very well. So I think Ellen understands Agna very well. So with regards to if Ellen were to make a decision for Agna, Agna's response is, let's give it a try and see how.
都有㗎，係啊。
有冇啲決定我幫你做嘅，你係覺得好開心
嘅？通常佢俾我嗰啲決定我都覺得 very good 嘅喎，所以我都冇即係我唔係話自己屋企人啊咁樣即係我哋本身嗰個 family 係咁樣嘅成就咗出嚟㗎嘛，咁都好和平嘅，係啊。
So my question to her was that did Ellen make any decision that she was very happy about? So her answer was that she felt it was okay, and because actually the whole family is quite harmonious and understand each other very well. So I think that's the key, understanding each other.
Okay, any more questions? Yeah, this lady over there.
Hi, thanks. So I suppose it's for Dr. Jen and for Edna as well. When you were diagnosed, Edna, it sounded, so I'm not an expert, okay? It's just that, is there a very fine line between your condition and depression? Because you talked about being depressed, and then at your age, I work with a lot of young people between 25 and 45. And I oftentimes think that, sometimes they say I'm depressed, and how would I know that someone who's talking about I'm depressed is also showing signs of early dementia? That's my question.
It's okay. So your question is, how do you differentiate between depression and dementia, right?
Yeah.
Early dementia.
Yes.
So depression is actually what we call pseudo dementia. Okay, so we do have patients, people who actually have depression. Okay, but they show all the symptoms of dementia. So if there is, a situation in which we are very uncertain whether this is depression or dementia, we will always choose to treat the depression first. And once we have treated the depression, and if we've done everything we can for the depression, then what we do after that is that we re-evaluate the cognitive symptoms. If the mood is much better, but the cognitive symptoms remain, together with all our objective tests, like what Evelyn spoke about just now, then we go on to possibly make a diagnosis of dementia. Yeah, but you're right, it is a fine line. Yeah, that's why sometimes the diagnosis is it's difficult. It's not so easy and not so clear cut. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, there's someone. Yeah.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Don't mind if I sit down because I'm a little shy. Yeah. Okay. I'd like to address this question to Ms. Kate, because you have a platform where you travel and you speak and you meet a lot of people. I want to ask you what programs you are aware of to detect, deter financial exploitation of people with dementia, because they are more vulnerable than the normal people. I met the Chief Justice of South Australia, and he doesn't seem to be that familiar with it. I cited a case in America of Brooke Esther. You may want to look it up so that you can know more about it. Brooke is spelled the same way as Brooke Shield. Astor is A-S-T-O-R. That's the wealthiest man who died in the Titanic, yeah, by the way. And so I hope you'll look into the matter, but I'd like to hear what you already know about programs that help to deter financial exploitation. Yeah.
I think that exploitation of people with dementia is actually quite a big problem, as is elder abuse. In Australia, they've been doing quite a bit of work around elder abuse in the last 2 or 3 years, and we, Alzheimer's Australia, now Dementia Australia, did produce quite a big publication about advanced care plannings to help people with dementia and their families kind of put things in place so that we couldn't be financially exploited. Having said that, I've been a care partner to people with dementia, and certainly my young friend Michael, who had vascular dementia, when he was living at home, it was very clear he had dementia, but he was being exploited by telephone salespeople, a whole range of people that he was picking up the phone, answering, giving his credit card details. And when he eventually went into aged care at the age of 54, and we were kind of sorting out all of his affairs, I was one of his legal guardians, we realised he was probably spending $500 or $600 a month from these types of telephone calls. So you might have a family member who's exploiting an older parent or even a sibling with dementia, but there's also a lot of people out in the community, a lot of cold calls that come in through the telephone where there's a lot of exploitation as well. I think it's a massive global problem. I don't know that we've got any programs or solutions, but certainly it's been on the drawing board in Australia and in the UK, I believe, as well. So I think it's something that's worth looking at in Singapore as well.
Thank you, Kate. I think we don't have really any more time. So I think if you have any questions, you can come to us personally, I think, at the end of this session. But I think before we end, any last words? Edna, anything else that you want to say?
Uh, 我希望咧，腦退化症呢樣嘢咧，盡快有一個新嘅根治。咁講咧應該就係好難得個講字嘅啫。不過始終我哋都要盡量咧係幫手，即係做多啲呢啲工作，令到咧可以快啲，多啲人咧就會做即係認識呢一個疾病啊，咁樣係啦。
So she Agnes hopes that very soon there will be a cure for brain degenerative disease like dementia, and also at the same time for more of such dementia-related work to be done so as to create more awareness.
Okay, thank you. Kate, you'll be speaking later, I think, right? Yeah, we won't stress you now for now. Any last words? Peter?
I think that at the moment there's a lot of people pretending that they've got answers in the dementia area. I think it's really important. You put a fantastic slide up which was about change. Actually knowing what is right and what is wrong is in all of our hearts, and listen to all the advice that you can get, but actually make your own decision. Live your own life the way you would live your life and treat the person that you are living with as you would love to be treated. You don't have to do it the way that it's being done now. We all have an opportunity to actually create change and to do things better than they're being done. And that's a worldwide thing. It's not Singapore, it's not Australia, it's all of us. We can do much better, and we need to do much better. So I'd just like to put that challenge out there, and it's a challenge to me too. And it's not to say anybody who's ever cared for somebody to actually go, God, I could have done that better. There's no guilt here. It's a going forward thing. It's about accepting that change and that challenge and doing it better. All right? And that's all I'd like to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Edna. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Jeffrey. And of course, Kate and Peter. Thank you. Thank you very much.